Tendo, do you know what day it is today?
What day is it?
It is 6 days before Australia Day, because we have to record this before Australia Day so we can get it out on Australia Day. But for all intents and purposes, it's Australia Day.
Oh my goodness, Noah! What is Australia Day? I mean, what is Australia? What is that?
Oh, okay. So, actually, I just found out about this. It's actually a continent. There's apparently 7 continents on Earth. If you include
I thought
Antarctica.
it was a country.
Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother debate that we could get into. Actually, Australia is technically a country and a continent, and New Zealand, people get very upset by this, Australians and New Zealanders. New Zealand is technically part of Australia, the continent, but when people say that New Zealand is part of Australia, people get super ticked. So, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that, even though it's definitely true. But it's not part of Australia, the country. So.
What's Australia Day, Noah?
Well, basically, there's a continent on the Earth called Australia. I was going to say Austria. Oops.
No. Very different place.
Australia. There's a continent called Australia. It's a big old island. It's smaller. I think it's the smallest continent, right?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah. Basically, Australia Day, which is celebrated every January 26th, they basically just, like, if you're in the US, you celebrate the 4th of July. That's basically, it's Independence Day. So they celebrate their ancestry and their history, much like we do, except I don't know if they have fireworks or not, because that's essentially all we do. They have parades and stuff. They are, it's a good time. According to Wikipedia, it says, it marks the anniversary of the 1788 arrival of the first fleet of British ships at Port Jackson, New South Wales, and the raising of the flag of Great Britain at Sydney Cove by Governing Arthur Phillip. So,
and just like any other more civilized people meeting indigenous people, I'm sure they were super nice to them and gave them tons of rights and food and say in the government in the matter.
Yes. And definitely not.
They're always so good about doing that.
Yes. Yeah. The people who discovered continents like America and Australia, they're great people. I bet they are. I mean, hey, the history doesn't say otherwise. It doesn't.
My history book doesn't. My history book right here says, Great Britain was a wonderful place. They were all really nice and never did anything bad. They founded the greatest country ever created, the United States of the Americas.
Wow, your history book sounds like it knows what it's talking about.
It read it. That was a direct quote.
Huh. Well, actually, what's weird is we usually call it the United States of America, but, that's not technically correct. So I guess your book got it right. The United States of Americas. But we're not here. We're not here to talk about America or Canada or Austria. We're here to talk about Australia.
That's right.
Australia, and not New Zealand, Australia. Because it's Australia Day.
We don't even live in Australia. We know, barely anyone. Why are we doing this? Who cares?
Because sometimes you need to take time to appreciate things that don't apply to you.
It's not the segmented podcast. It's the special podcast. Where instead of actually having episodes, we just find an excuse for a special every single week. And we're like, this week is the Australia Day special.
There's a holiday every day, so I mean...
The pre-Easter special.
Yeah, a pre-Easter holiday special, and then a holiday special for Easter, and then... there's a holiday every day. But today, January 26th, 2018, is Australia Day. We're here to celebrate it by talking about Australia. First, I'd like to talk about their national anthem, because in my opinion, theirs is better than ours. But frankly, I just don't really like ours that much.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm gonna give
that's an opinion thing. So listen to this. Tell me how you feel about it, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
We've golden soil and wealth for toil.
if I'm being honest,
Yes.
it sounds like pretty much any other national anthem of that era based out of Europe.
Well, actually, the thing is, this national anthem was written in I think it was here. Advance Australia Fair. It was first written in 1878 and was adopted in 84.
Well, as the same like sound.
Yeah.
And like specific beats you want to hit, like in pretty much any other national anthem. The melody didn't stand out to me. I mean, it's pretty good. I do want to point out a specific line that says, "Our land abounds in nature's gifts," which is comedic to me because all we know Australia for, as far as nature, is these terrifying creatures called marsupials. That usually are just mean and attack people. But sometimes they're cute, but usually that's it. So I just thought
like
that was
dingoes.
funny.
Dingoes. They're vicious and awful. And don't forget about Tasmania. Tasmanian devils are evil.
Island of just devils.
Yes. Tasmania's I don't want to go to Tasmania. And also they have so many spiders and snakes. So many creatures in Australia. I kind of want to visit Australia, but I also don't because of how many creatures there are.
I'd love to visit Australia. I'd love to visit any other foreign country.
Have you ever been to any other foreign country other than?
No. No, I haven't.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
That's whatever. I'll have my time.
I've really only ever been to Canada, but I mean, it doesn't really count.
It counts. I mean, I can't imagine it's that much different. But
No, it's not. If you go to British Columbia, Canada, from Washington State, it's pretty much the same. Like, the weather patterns are, like, identical, and it's really the same.
Well, yeah, it's not like you cross the border and all of a sudden just... Oh my gosh, I can scarcely believe everything! You know, like... The line doesn't divide the weather.
The thing is, Ireland is like entirely different. So I mean, when you visit another country, well, to be fair, where you live and where I live we have different weather patterns. It's just that's how that works.
Right, sure.
Canada, I don't think is too special when I say I've been to another country and that's just Canada. So I don't know. Anyway, national anthem wise, I think that both are fairly generic as national anthems, but really, as you said, there's kind of only one.
3 out of 10.
A 3? Wow.
Needs more bass drum.
Wow. What would you rate ours as? The Star Spangled Banner.
2 out of 10.
A 2 out of 10?
Yeah.
The thing is, are you rating it as a national anthem or are you rating it as a song?
I'm rating it as a song.
Okay.
That I would enjoy.
Okay.
As far as national anthems go, I have like no baseline. So US's is like 9 and Australia's is like 10. Like, because those are the only two I really know well.
Yeah. Well, Canada's national. I feel like I'm talking about Canada more than I am about Australia.
Canada's, and I've heard Russia's.
I haven't heard. Oh, I have heard Russia's. I really like Canada's.
The rest,
okay.
I forget.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't even know all of the Star Spangled Banner, but that's because I was homeschooled. So I know the part where it's like, and the home of the free and the land of the which you know.
No, that's not at all how it goes.
The land of the free and the home of the brave. I even screwed that part up, and I said that's the one I know. Well, you know what? I know that one part from the Australian national anthem where it says, "And advance Australia fair."
Yeah, that's the other thing. Their name is Advance Australia Fair, which I think is like a really broad, like kind of. I don't want to say generic, but it's a blanket statement. It's like obviously
it definitely is.
You want to advance.
We want to advance as a society and a country,
which is
and
like
a continent.
Just describing the flag. Okay, listen to these names of national anthems. Of course, the U.S. we have the Star Spangled Banner.
Yep.
Then there's God Save the Queen. Marcha
is that-
Real,
Mm-hmm.
La Lace, and then of Canada is just Oh Canada.
Oh Canada.
That's the song. I'm disappointed. And then a lot of the other ones obviously are in the native tongue or language or whatever. And then some are literally just called national anthem of whatever the country is.
Well, is it that it's literally called that, or they just don't have a name?
I believe they are. At least that's what it's listed from what I can find. Maybe I'm just uncultured and I'm not digging deep enough.
You're definitely uncomfortable.
Let me do a quick fact check on this one.
A quick Google search.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. Russia's is not the national anthem of Russia. It's Государственный гимн Российской Федерации.
You only kind of butchered that.
That was not a joke, by the way.
Well, I wasn't taking it as a joke.
I think a lot of them directly just mean like a national anthem. Like the German one is Einigkeit und Recht und Freiheit, but it's also known as Lied der Deutschen, which literally just means Song of Germans. So it's like,
my favorite national anthem. You know, the Song of the U.S. or the Song of Australians, the Song of Americans. It's the best.
Yeah, Guatemala. It's like 100% just called the national anthem of Guatemala. So at least I can give Australia. I'm gonna give them pity points. We got pity points here. 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 for good name.
Yes, at least creativity points.
I can't help but notice there are two countries where the name directly translates just to the word hymn.
Hymn. Like a hymn,
hymn.
like a
not like
church hymn? Okay.
Stop him, but as in let's sing a hymn. Hail the ruler of all minds.
Is that a name of a national anthem, or is that lyrics?
That is the name of India's national anthem. Of course, a lot of these are translations, so they're gonna sound strange, but
still.
Anyway, we could go through national anthems all day. In fact,
yes.
Before you know it, that's going to be a segment in 2 weeks. But hey, when we can't rely on viewers to give us content,
segment ideas,
we use Wikipedia. Like Wikipedia is essentially our source of content.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. But we're here to talk about Australia, so let me tell you about what Wikipedia tells us about Australia. Actually, I want to talk about the Australian flag. Okay. Because here's this. Here's all of the flags of Australia. Before you look at them, what is your stance on flag design? Like, how much do you care about it?
Flag design?
Yes.
I stopped caring when I realized that none of them are trying to look unique and artistic, but are rather just trying to reference something else or be so symbolic to the point where they're stupid, like a lot of modern art. That's a very cynical outlook, but I'm just opening up this document of Australia's old flags. I'm gonna have to go out and just say a good 6 of them just look like garbage.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I think most of them. I think there's one flag of Australia's that actually looks good or fine.
The Northern Territory?
No. Northern Territory's. I think if the Northern Territory got rid of that weird block on the side that says, "Hey, we're part of Australia," if you just got rid of that and just had the orange with the white and black flower in the center, I think that would be good. That would be a good flag design. But I think the only one that's good now, and just because for the sake of simplicity, is the
Aboriginal.
Oh, Aboriginal. I knew that.
Or Aboriginal, yeah.
Aboriginal. That's it. It is. So yeah, I think that flag's. I really like that flag. Well, I think it is plain. It's boring, frankly. Right. But I think it's a good flag, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just random dots, throw a bird on there. Maybe
no birds.
You just take detail. The other flag, grab the corner of it in Photoshop, and just drag that up to the far left corner, and it's good enough.
Yeah, oh my gosh. There's some flags that I need to show you, but we're not gonna get into it right now. But they're awful. They're the worst. I can't even think of what they are right now, but they're bad. And
They're very bad, I'm sure.
no, I know they're bad. I've seen them. I just can't remember to whom they belong. Anyway, what about the original flag of Australia? Was it just blue, and then it has in the top left the Union Jack, and then a bunch of stars speckled about. That probably means something, but I don't know. Okay, the 5 white stars represent the Southern Cross. I don't know what that is. Oh, okay, it is a constellation. Cool.
That's what I was wondering. I thought it was a constellation, but...
Well, it looked like one, but I wasn't positive. The thing about...
it represents the 6 federating colonies. Wait, no, that's what the big white star
Yeah,
stands
because
for.
it has 6 points. 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
4, 5, 6, 7. No, it has 7. I don't know, but I know that...
Originally had 6 points.
Oh,
but
okay.
7th one was added.
Ugh. You can't just change a flag like that.
Yeah, you can.
Goodness.
You can change it whenever you want. So change it to something good, all right? I'm gonna start submitting my professional graphic logo designs to Australia's government and be like, "Look at me! I just got out of graphic design school. Use my designs. Hit me up.
Hit me up. Give me money."
I'm looking for a gig. Nobody's gonna hire me. Nobody wants my dinky little logos.
When in
Please,
doubt, go
government
to
of
Australia
Australia.
and ask to redesign their flag.
At the very least, I'll go to TimTam and be like, "Yo, you need a rebrand."
Well, actually, speaking of TimTams, for those who don't know, TimTams are a
Cookie. They're a cookie. Don't
they're a
kid
cookie.
yourself.
They're a cookie with chocolate around them. They're kind of like, I don't know, I've never had them, but I have with me right now
The
whole thing of
last TimTam.
no, they're not. No,
On
not
Earth.
the last TimTam.
You
It was a
heard it here
whole-
first. Noah owns the last
The-
package of TimTams.
That's it. I actually have 2 of them. So
Oh, 2? Wait, you have 2 packages?
yeah, because I got one of the original and one of the dark chocolate.
Are you gonna try both?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous. I was gonna get them, but
Well-
getting them where I live is not an easy feat. So,
Yes.
I essentially gave up. Is the story
Well,
behind
yeah.
that?
It would be like, what was it? $20 to get you a pack of TimTams
It,
to your
it
house.
wasn't even like
$30?
the price. I would give up all the money in the world to do something stupid on this podcast, but
That's not, no. You have your priorities way out of whack. you gotta fix those. But at the start of 2017, they started selling TimTams, which is an originally Australian chocolate covered cookie thing. I've never had them, but at the start of 2017 they started selling them in the US. So I went to a local store and I bought 2 packets of them. They were like $3 because they were on sale. So I got both of them for
What?
under $6 because Washington doesn't have a food tax.
what?
Yep,
Oh my
$2.99 a
goodness.
piece. I was only gonna get the original. I was like, ugh, might as well just get this one because it's so dang cheap right now. So, and Tendo was gonna try to get them, but we already explained that.
Yeah,
So.
whatever.
You know what? Eventually, we'll have TimTams. You'll have a TimTam.
Hey, I was the
So-
one who enjoyed this spam. I feel like you deserve this.
Yes, I deserve this because I hated the spam, and you were like, I guess it's okay. So now I get a candy. So let's open this. Arnott's TimTam.
Such a big deal. 'Cause it's
Get-
foreign and strange and Australian. But to anyone who's familiar with it, this seems really, really weird. And like
Hey,
we're
it's
glorifying
Australia
something
Day.
So simple.
If we ever do a Independence Day or 4th of July special,
I want to do
well,
that and just
okay,
be
we'll do that.
obnoxious and rude the whole time.
because that's America for you, and we'll
It'd
do
just be
taste test.
funny.
It'll just the whole thing is taste testing American candies.
We just argue the whole time. We'll just stuff in our faces with like hot dogs and barbecue and just 4th
Yeah.
of July.
Heck yeah, let's shoot off some fireworks, Daryl. Okay. Anyway,
Bang, I blew my head off. I meant to say hand, but instead Daryl blew his head off.
that escalated real quick. Okay. So I open these up, and first off, they come in like a tray, and so each of them are sideways, and then they're lined up. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6,
kind
7,
of
8,
like
9,
an
10,
Oreo
11.
cookie.
There's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Why the frick would they do it in 11? That's a prime number.
I think that's a perfect number of TimTams.
But look, the serving size is for 2 biscuits. For every 2 biscuits, and they don't even have it divisible by 2.
That way you have to buy 2 packages.
That's it.
Or else you can
genius.
never eat proper serving sizes. You'll be like, I really want some TimTams, but I only have 1 left. Friend will be like, just eat it. I'll be like, no, serving size is 2 and it only comes in 11. What am I supposed to do? Buy another package. But I don't want to.
But in all seriousness, why in the world did they do 11? What is this?
It is really weird.
Yeah, it's divided in a section of 4, 4, and 3 in the middle.
I have 3 questions for you.
Okay, yes, what is the question?
First one, are they efficiently packaged?
No,
as I
there's
mean,
a lot
are
of
they
space.
using as much space as they can?
No. They have dividers that are fairly large, and they have a lot of space in between them. That said, I don't...
kind of wasteful.
Yeah, quite. Actually,
Okay.
however, I don't know what it would be like if they were just stacked on top of each other, because they are pretty... I don't even know what these are like, but let me just establish that they smell really good.
That's what my second question was going to be, how do they smell?
Yeah, as soon as you open up the package, it's just, just filled with chocolatiness. But it's like, it's weird. I don't know how to describe it. It's like chocolate, but sweeter and more,
I'm sure it's very specific. I understand.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it smells like TimTams.
Okay. Final question.
Yes, before I
this
eat
is
it.
an interesting one. Are they unpleasant or uncomfortable to hold in any way or in any angle?
Okay, let me hold one. I'm opening it. Whoa. Huh. No, they are not uncomfortable to hold, but I feel like if I'm holding it in my hot, sweaty hands, I feel as though they're gonna...
Yeah, I think melt real quick because they're covered in saturated fat, and then it's gonna be like, you just grabbed a candy bar kind of thing. But that's chocolate.
Yeah, so on the bottom, it's like completely flat, and then it goes, and then it looks like there's like a wafer or a cookie or something inside. On the top, it's like wavy and wrinkly. It's interesting. Okay, this is the ultimate taste test for a podcast.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Those are really good.
Hey!
Wow. Why in the world did they wait until 2017 to bring these to the US?
Oh man, now you know I'm gonna have to get myself some, podcast or not.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good. I don't know how to describe the flavor. It's interesting because the chocolate doesn't taste like normal chocolate. It kind of tastes like lighter and fluffier. And then it has like a biscuity, cookie thing. It's like cookie. And then the filling is in between the cookies. And the filling seems as though it's the exact same thing as it is on the outside. Like, the same coating is what's on the inside as well.
Huh. So it's kind of like just, there's this creamy kind of chocolate that covers the outside and the middle section.
Mm-hmm.
And then encased in all of that are these two just kind of wafer-like cookies kind of thing?
Yeah, but they're not wafery. They're not, like, flaky. They're like cookies.
Kind of cakey?
Yeah, they're kind of like hard cake, which doesn't sound very appetizing, but it's good.
No, I understand. Like a compact, like, kind of muffin. I know there's like some other snack things that have similar kind of things. Okay.
It's good.
I'm getting a good idea of what it's like. It sounds like it's got a very satisfying texture.
Yeah, it does. And when you bite into it, you crunch to the top of it, and then you slowly ease through the middle of it, and then you crunch on the bottom, and it's quite satisfying to eat.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Man, have we never considered making the segmented podcast into a food review podcast?
I'm so bad at describing how things taste and look and smell, so that would not be good for me.
No, I want to do it just so Just so we could be like, hey guys, today we're doing this. Here we go. And then there's just like 3 minutes of just
just chewing. We're like, yep, that's good. It's okay.
yep, okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's definitely a segment that we're gonna
And then
do
after
in the future.
3 minutes, we'll be like, okay, here's the breakdown. There was this, there was that. It was good. I loved it. That's it.
And then we give it a rating. You know how we gave a rating of Spam
How?
for smell, texture, and taste
Oh, yeah.
out of 300? So I think for this, taste, I'd say taste is like 80. No, 90. I'm gonna say 90 for taste. It's really, really good.
Good.
Also, I don't normally like candies because they're usually really sweet, and that's stupid because it's sugar, but these aren't very sweet. And I could have one of these without having milk, but I feel like with milk, this would be way better. The taste is like 90. It's really good. The texture, as I said, is very, very satisfying. So I'm gonna say the texture is like a 92. I don't want to raise this like super high just in case we end up eating something better on the podcast, but this is really good so far. And the smell is wonderful. And if you've had TimTams before, I feel like it would bring back a lot of nostalgia. So I'm going to have to say the smell is like 92.
100.
100? If I'm not worried as to, because this isn't the perfect candy. It's not perfect, so I don't want to give just 300 out of 300.
You can't give anything 100, but
No, but I think that this is very, very good. I'd say it's probably in total about 280 out of 300.
all right, that's a really good score.
It is a really good story. You really need to try some of these. This is not a paid endorsement by Arnott's TimTam.
Nothing
They're just
is a
freaking
paid
delicious.
endorsement because nobody watches a show where we celebrate Australia Day for actually no reason.
Well, I mean, you're right. So, this episode of the Segmented Podcast has been sponsored by Australia, the country.
The Australian government. They were just like...
They needed more exposure, so they were like, okay, let's target a bunch of... We're actually part of a bunch of different little podcasts. They were like, hey, do you want to do an Australia Day pop?
Our target demographic, their target demographic is podcast listeners in their lower 20s in the U.S. And they're like, we need more of them coming to Australia.
What I find funny is the fact that their target demographic... Australia has a target demographic.
Yeah. Their target demographic is a certain age group in another country.
Who listen to podcasts.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, wow. That's not over with the TimTams. I still have the dark chocolate ones. Let's go for the...
Now remember, Noah, the serving sizes too.
You're right. It looks like these have the same... Yeah, they have the same, like, 190 calories per two that you eat. Actually, fairly good size. I didn't even mention how big they are, but they're not, like, little. Like, if you can imagine the size of a Kit Kat, they're kind of, like, 2 times the size of a Kit Kat. So. Okay.
Sizable, yeah.
So, I'm opening up the dark chocolate one. There's the tray again. Let's see if it comes in 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes! It comes with 11. I'm still baffled as to why they did that, but, I mean, it's fine. Whatever. So, these look exactly the same, except darker. Which, I mean, that makes sense. It's dark chocolate. Okay.
I'm amazed.
Okay, I'm gonna take a bite of one.
I'm guessing, just from what I know of you, that your opinion of this one will be slightly worse, but still pretty positive compared to the
that's
other
exactly how I
TimTams.
feel. I think it's definitely a little worse than the original TimTams, but also I'm not the biggest fan of dark chocolate. If you like dark chocolate a lot, then you might like these more. But they're still really good. They remind me a lot of a Japanese candy, which, I mean, that won't really help you. I forget what they're called. If I heard what it was called, I would know. But, like, basically, it's the wafer, the cookie, is very similar to a type of Japanese candy, and it's really good. So, Yeah, I'd
Oh yeah.
also give the dark chocolate a try. I think there's also like caramel and like
Oh
or
yeah,
Tim
I know there's
Tams.
plenty of flavors. I saw like a
Yeah.
coconut cream at one point. I was like,
That
ooh.
sounds delicious. Oh my gosh. Oh right. Yeah, their website is www.itsnotacookie.com.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah, there's original, classic dark mint, chewy caramel. So there's a lot of them. I bet there's even more. Yeah, Tim Tams are good.
I think I want to build a house out of TimTams.
Oh, that would not last long. That would definitely melt, and
I
people would
think
eat
I'm
it. I
definitely
would
gonna
eat
make a
it.
house out of TimTams. Okay. Well, this is my plan now. Cause I was just reading their website, and they're like, "It's not a cookie," and I was like, "Okay, well, why it's not a cookie?" And they're like, "That deep, raw, unbridled passion Aussies have for their Tim Tam cookies. That kind of love is hard to understand. Don't be fooled by its appearance. Tim Tam is no cookie. Sure, you can dip them in milk. Leave them out for Santa. Leave them in a cookie jar, but it's still not a cookie. Its absolute awesomeness cannot be defined." So how I understand this is that Tim Tams are not made out of like what you make food out of. They're made out of some sort of like magical like source of energy that we
Yeah.
don't quite like understand as humans just yet. Like I'm assuming this was like some sort of mistake. So that means obviously infinite energy, invincible, and delicious. So I'm gonna make a house out of them.
I mean,
And
that sounds like a really. My only concern with that, doing that, like your points are perfect, is that it costs you $30 to get one package of Tim Tams. So good luck with that.
that's the thing though. It's gonna be a little expensive, but hey, you know those people that make doomsday shelters? I am also gonna do that, but mine is gonna be made out of Tim Tams, so I'm gonna actually survive.
Oh, and if you get hungry, just take one Tim Tam off the wall.
Actually, maybe I should do the math for next episode to see if I could build a house out of Tim Tams for cheaper than I can build a house out of actual materials, inferring
Well,
that I'm building the whole house myself.
You should do the math. If you do, that would be awesome, and we'd get at least 7 more listeners. I can't confirm that. I can't guarantee that, but maybe we will. Just wait till next episode, and he'll have the math. The last thing that I want to talk about, Australia, is yes, Tim Tams are great. Yes, their festivities are great. Yes, what it's about is great. But let's talk about the Great Emu War.
The
or
greatest
Emu.
part, I would say, of Australian history,
Yes.
is the war against what else but giant birds, just big old ferocious birds all over the island. I mean continent. It's a continent.
It's a continental island.
So
That's what it is.
if you don't know, emus are the second largest living birds, obviously related to the ostrich. So basically, they're like they have feathers all over them instead of like an ostrich where they kind of like bear in the other places. But they'll kill you. They'll kill you,
Whoa.
and they'll kill your dog, and they'll kill your wife, and they'll kill your husband and your grandma and everyone you know. And then they'll just trot back to their nest and take care of their babies.
With your guts in its beak, walking around, hanging out. Well, okay,
Yep.
it kind of. But for those who didn't know, because I didn't know until I started researching this, the Emu War basically was an infestation of emus or emus. I pronounce it emu in Australia, and there's just a ton of them. So many. So if you go to the Wikipedia article, it says the war as a big heading, and then it says first attempt and second attempt. So there was multiple attempts to get rid of these emus, and they were attacking, and they're ferocious and vicious. So then they have just another one that says aftermath, and it says, despite the problems encountered with the cull, the farmers of the region once again requested military assistance in 1934, 1943, and 1948. Multiple times, the farmers were just, help us, please. Only to be turned down by the government. So the government was like, no, we're not going to help you with these emus. I don't know why. They might have their own incentives. Maybe it's not worth the money and time, but I'm going to say it's because they were terrified because these are freaking, they're demons. That's what I'd say. Then it goes on to say, instead, the bounty system that had been instigated in 1923 was continued, and this proved to be effective. 57,034 bounties were claimed over a 6-month period in 1934. That's a lot of emus that they killed.
I just realized this sounds a lot like the American settlers in the Buffalo when there were like 65 million. And they're just, the government's like, oh, hi, kill them all, please, because that way we can easier get rid of the Native Americans. And everyone's like, okay, cool. And then they killed all of them.
Don't you just hate it when that you kill everything instead of just, yeah. That's like an example of bad population control.
That's true. Here's the thing, though. I do want to note about emus. If you ever do encounter one, they're known to approach if they see unexpected movement of like limbs or clothing. So if you want to track them somewhere, you can use like a ball of feathers or rags like dangled from somewhere. But the only problem is that's attracting them towards you. As far as getting them away from you, you can climb a tree. They can swim, so don't try to go into the water, because they will outswim you and they will kill you. But yeah, besides that, just stay out of their way.
Just stay out of Australia. I thought we were just established this. That's awful. If you want to go to Australia, go for it. Chase your dreams. Okay, for those who are listening, I hope this encourages you. If you've ever wanted to go to Australia at all, just a little bit, leave right now. Leave. Pack up everything and just leave. Go to Australia. Pet an emu. Actually, don't do that. Just go. Go for it.
I believe they are like on the protected list or whatever, or like a protected status right now. I mean, we make a bunch of jokes about, all these murderous animals in Australia, but I'm fairly certain a lot of them are in a great spot on their own right now.
Yeah, it's just when humans get involved, things get nasty.
Nope, take that back. That's Tasmanian emus. Normal emus are the least concerned. Go to Australia and kill all of them.
Perfect. That was a fast turnaround.
I basically just went from emus are the worst, they're terrible, then I was like, oh no, guys, remember it's nature, you gotta take care of it. Straight back to no, they're the worst, kill them all, they're the devil.
The literal devil. It's not even a metaphor this time. I think they're actually, all of them are a hive mind of a reincarnation of the devil. Emus and cats are from the devil, and that's the best way I can explain it. Okay. Ooh. So, we hope that you learned something on this fine Australia Day. January 26th, celebrate it with us. Get some TimTams. Pull out
at the very least, go. I mean, if you can't get TimTams, do a Google search of some other stuff that came originally in Australia. Go to Walmart, whatever you have in your country. South Africa, do you have Costco? I don't know. Get some Marmite or something like that. Eat a tub of Marmite.
Get a whole thing of Marmite or Vegemite.
Can't even do that? Just print out a little picture of an emu, maybe play darts with it. I don't know, do something.
Go out there, express your inner Australian and your outer Australian
that we all have inside of us.
Yes, we're all Australian.
Except for you, Commander Moose.
No, you're not
Specifically you.
Specifically you. Well, we hope you did enjoy this and learn something. If you want to read up on this, go ahead. Google Australia Day. Click on Wikipedia like we did. This is just supposed to be fun and not actually like a whole thing of celebrating a culture, which I think Australia is a cool culture, but I don't think we did it justice.
Right, no. Because this is the segmented podcast.
This is a segmented podcast.
We create our outlines 6 minutes before the podcast. And
only sometimes. Only most of the time. I think there's once that we did it before. Remember that? Remember when it was a week before? Yeah,
I do.
Good times.
Oh.
Okay, Tendo, that's all, but you need to take us out.
Okay. Here goes nothing. Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil. Our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair.
What was really funny was, one, that was entirely unexpected. And I mean, that was great. But two, Discord kept cutting you out every 5 seconds, so I just hear Australia fair nature. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Even from you singing it and you being cut out every 2 seconds, I think it's still better than the Star Spangled Banner.